gotta get the wiggies cause I'm off to the hole in the road. I'm walking off school and I'm off to the city, watching telly all night and I'm not looking pretty. See, I got this job downtown, selling knocked off ladies watches for £1. For a really dodgy man that I met in a dodgy cafe. You know, he said to me, the girl who sold these yesterday wasn't selling very carefully. Police came along and took her and all my watches away. So if you see some coppers, you grab my stuff and leg it, boy, right away. I'll be in the cafe. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. So it's been a few hours and I haven't sold enough for my bus fare home. Street selling's pretty tough, so I turn on the charm for the lunchtime rush. With a smile and a wiggle on my schoolboy touch. So the charm is working in the underground. There's a crowd of men and women gather round, and the watches they are going, the money is a-flowing. Think I'll take a little extra, stick it in my pocket, spend you later. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way through life. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I haven't sold a watch for an hour and I'm dying for a slash. I've had enough of this, so I'm off for a piss. Then a quick walk back round to the cafe. Sitting at his table drinking tea, looks at me suspiciously. Then with a glance at the watch he says, how did you do? He paid me a couple of quid, then he said, would you like to come and work another day? I said I'd come back down on Friday. Yeah, to that he said okay. So with £2 in my pocket and another 5 in my shoe, I nipped down to Castle Market where a man who looks like Leo Sayer is selling pots with cockles and prawns. You make me feel like dancing. Then off back to dinner on the Wiggies and then home. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way. I'm just a boy from Sheffield, making his way.
That was fashionably late. That was Heath singing Boy from Sheffield, which was inspired by him selling watches and wagging skull when he was a youth and going out Wiggies and the Hole in the Road and all that sort of thing. If you're from Sheffield, you will know what we are talking about. Anyway, I thought I'd add my own little song. I've written it's only a couple of lines, but I think it sums everything up. Okay, it goes like this. Right, I've got to get it right. I've been practicing all day. In fact, I was practicing last time before Leeds interrupted me. So I'm going to do it. Are you ready? Nappy face, the greatest hoax of the human race. I thank the Lord that I am ace, and I didn't fall for nappy face. Nappy face, nappy face, the greatest hoax of the human race. I thank the Lord that I am Mace, and I didn't fall for nappy face. There you go, that's mine. Good evening. Welcome to, it's a bit bright, that, isn't it? Welcome to Raconteurs News. How you doing? All right. That was Heath singing "Boy from Sheffield," and then there was me, which you can tell the difference. I don't know if I've got this screen over here that's got this on, because in order for me to be able to do that, to play the Boy from Sheffield, I've actually got another computer, an old shitty fucking pile of shit that's got a cracked screen, and I've just got like a telly that I use for it. So that's what I've been having to do, which is why I keep looking that way. Okay, so if anybody's wondering, that's why I keep looking that way. Anyway, good evening and welcome to Raconteurs News. It is Tuesday, the 19th of January 2021, and 2021 seems just like an extension of 2020. So we'll call it 2020 part 2, shall we? And then when we get to 2022, we'll know, won't we? So let's just say hello to some of the people in the chat room. Look, I'm really sorry that I've not been about and I've not been doing shows and stuff. But believe me, I've been fucking shit, man. I've been absolutely feeling like fucking dog shit, spewing up. I was going to do shows and I thought, I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. And I don't want to. I don't want to shortchange you. So we're now back. We're going to be doing Tuesday and we're going to be doing Friday. Now, Tuesday is going to be ostensively, if that's a word, interviews and stuff like that. I've got an interview lined up for next week. You're going to fucking love it. You're going to hate it, but you're going to love it as well. It's not Neil Sanders, by the way, but you're going to love it and hate it. It'll be all that sort of thing. Yeah, you know, I think it's just been fucking crackers, hasn't it? We're in this dystopian mental health fucking nightmare that I don't think anybody knows how we're going to get out of it. We'll find out next week anyway. So anyway, this is what it's going to be. It's not going to be Neil Sanders next week. Don't worry about that. Although I will have him on again because I think he's an interesting guest and he fucking winds you up. Like fucking nuts, like nobody's business. But the guy next week should do the same. Well, not really do the same, but he's got a different perspective on things. Chris O'Rourke's just put in the chat room, I need my head seen to, Jason. I miss your show. So, all right, love. There you go. There's my beautiful wife. She's going to go and read a book in bed. And probably listen to me as well at the same time, because she can multitask, being female and all that. Now, what I was going to say is I have to set up another computer, so then I have to get that as a person, into the studio. But it's on a shitty computer, which is sort of down there. But if I do this and exit the solo layout, you will be able to see my feet. There you go. That's the view from the other one where I played the music. Yeah, well, me wheels. If you have to see me wheels.
Why not feet?
I know. Where's the green screen? I can't. Do you know, it traps me. It's a bit trappy. I'm going to have to get something else sorted out because once it comes, it's only here. Once it comes down, it goes right across, and I have to pull it across, and then I get my fucking wheels, my feet, these caught up. This is from the webcam under there, which is the one that I did. Which is the one that I did. So yeah, but the green screen, I've not been doing it. It traps me in, gets under my wheels. Anyway, I can get rid of this now. RM production. I just done a message as well. So I hope you've had a good. I hope you're feeling okay. I hope you're feeling okay. I hope you've had a good week and a good weekend. It's been crazy, hasn't it? I mean, it's been more than crazy. I mean, today's the day, apparently, according to the Q-tards, that Trump's going to fucking deliver some sort of miracle. But I don't think so. I think the people over there in the United States are ready. Let me get rid of him anyway. Let me get rid of me. So, remove. There we go. That's it. You could look at that big picture of me. I've had a shave today as well and a shower. I've got this fucking shower. Oh, honestly, I've got this shower push chair thing for me in shower. And I fucking, it's got this thing in it where you can take this thing off, right? So on the seat, it's got like a thing that you can take off, you know, if you want to over a bog and have a shit or something like that, or to, you know, wash your arse. And oh god, it's fucking terrible. It's terrible in wet weather. It skids. I turn my wheels and it skids. What can you do? So and the thing comes out, the thing that you sat on that goes over the hole, right? It just falls, it just slips out from in front of you, and then your arse is halfway through, and it's so fucking it's so fucking like, it's like having a shit. And if you've got one leg, you know what it's like having a shit. It's terrible. In fact, it's awful. Let me remove myself. Move that one from kick from studio. Kick guest. Oh, fuck off. Oh well, never mind. Anyway, let's say hello to some of the people in the chat room. Good evening. Good evening to Thomas Tierney. You should go on Britain's Got Talent. I should, but if I hadn't talent. Ron Malcolm, sorry. Thinking of Malcolm McDonald. Good evening. Keb Dude is spinning. Number one in my book, Welsh Dave, BitChute, nappy face, numpties everywhere. They are, aren't they? I mean, it's just fucking completely ridiculous. BitChute said earlier on, are you on Facebook? Yes, I am on Facebook. If you put in Facebook, facebook.com/Holmes2, then you will find me. That's my thing. What do you think it'll be like in 2033? I think it'll probably just be a bit like this. Only there'll be more drones making sure that we're not going out or socializing or having sexual intercourse with other people. You know, there'll be plenty of wanking going on, but sexual intercourse, yeah. Alan McVicker, good evening to you. All no bad, Jason, he says. Oh, good. It's good to see that you're well. Regina, I am. Hello, lovely to see you. Blazing Stars, good evening to you. Everybody, honestly, I'm overwhelmed every time. I'm overwhelmed that people will fucking see that baldy cunt not unblock me yet. Blazing Stars. Oh right, okay. Oh, is that Blaze? Is that him? Yeah. I didn't block you, so I can't unblock you. £7,000 for being challenged over face mask. Yeah, that's compensation that somebody's got. Apparently, someone's got a settlement of £7,000 for not wearing a face nappy in public, in a public place or whatever. One trick pony high fives at 6 inches away. Yeah, I mean, what's that all about? That's us high fiving. That is it. high-fiving. Ooh. Anyway, I had a nurse come yesterday. And the day before, they always ring me up and say, "You got a nurse coming tomorrow. Have you got any symptoms? You know, have you lost your sense of taste? Have you got fucking temperature?" And I did, you know, and they said, "Have you, you know, ask me all these questions?" I'm saying, no. Have you come in contact with anybody who's tested positive for COVID? I said, well, I did FaceTime my daughter the other day and she's tested positive for COVID. So my daughter and her boyfriend have both tested positive for COVID. Only you can unblock it. Have a day off. Fucking hell, I've done all my stuff today. All my maintenance work on the YouTube channel today by getting rid of Uni as a moderator. Sorry, removing Uni as a moderator. Not allowed to drink in public in Scotland. That's probably not a bad idea because I don't live in Scotland. But then again, that's what all people do, isn't it? You know, it's if it don't affect them, they don't give a fuck. I do give a fuck. I think you should be able to drink in public anywhere in the fucking world. You should be able to do what the fuck you want. Blazing Star said he messaged me last week. I didn't get it. You've got to tell me who you are. You've got to speak in English. How did you message me? What did you message me on? Not allowed to smoke crack in England. Fuck it. What? It's a joke, isn't it? I mean, every good citizen's right is to be able to smoke crack. Legalize all drugs. That's what we should do. We should legalize all drugs. We should do. There's a drug problem, and the drug problem isn't really the drugs. They're a symptom. It's the fucking violence and the gang culture and the shit that goes with it. I mean, this last week, we've had some guys go to prison. I think there were about 6 of them collectively that went to prison for for having fucking like AK-47s and semi-automatic guns and all this sort of shit, and drugs as well. You know, this is what happens. They didn't have these semi-automatic weapons to protect anything else but the fucking drugs that they were doing. Now, if there were no need for that, if you go good at local shop, shut the fuck up, dog. Oh, I'm telling you, he's been a rape cunt. He fucking bit me today, the little bastard. I'm only trying to wipe his fucking hands. Fucking wanker. Yeah, so if you could go down at shop and, you know, get a bit whatever you wanted, whatever you want to put in your body, it's your fucking body. As long as you're not doing it to somebody else or you're making somebody else do it, then I don't think it's anybody else's business. Blazing Stars says, I'll try again later. Aid said, stop asking for permission. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. And by the way, I've got the number. If you want to send Aid a WhatsApp message, what's up, Doug?
I've had to release the dog because he won't deal with my mask. So I'm locking him out of the bedroom.
Okay, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
My wife's got this sleep apnea thing, so she had a test. They brought home this thing that she wore, and while she was asleep, and she stopped breathing 37 times a minute. Was it 37 times a minute?
Between 32 and 35.
Oh, sorry, 32 and 35 times a minute.
An hour.
An hour, sorry. Fucking hell, a minute. Yeah, so 32 and 35 times an hour. So she's got this mask that she wears for a certain amount at night until probably I get in bed and what have you. But the dog don't like it. The dog hates it, and he has a go at her for it. So the dog's having to be ushered out of the bedroom because he won't have it. Release the hounds. Love Munich, been there twice. Oh, okay. I like that A quote, yeah. Anyway, I've got the number and I'm going to put it on bottom of the screen. So just bear with me while I get the number, because I've got it on here. What happens is I send, if you send to this a WhatsApp video message, I will send it on to my phone and then I'll send it on to Ada. So it's just a way of keeping Ada's privacy and you being able to just a quick message. Just a quick video message saying, "Hey, all right, mate, I know, blah, blah, blah." Well, say what you want. Say, stop asking for, if you want to have a stroke, stop asking for permission. You could say stuff like that. Anyway, so he's doing okay. He's got some fucking balls about him. That's what he's got. Contacts. There we go. So it is. Let me put this in a thing, a banner. Create a banner. Scroll across button. Send Aid a WhatsApp massage. Leave a massage. A WhatsApp message. Send Aid a WhatsApp. Oh, I put video message. Video message. Oh, here we go. Oh, fuck off. Send Aid a video message on WhatsApp, and the number is, oh fuck off, 07507 07507 763 3. God, I fucking hate my eyes. 763 559. 763 559. I think that's it. Okay, scroll across the bottom of the screen, add banner, and then show. There we go. 763 559. That's no 7507. Yep. Okay, so I got that right. So you can send Ada a WhatsApp message using that number there. If you're on WhatsApp, if you're not, then well. Anyway, what's been going on in the world? It's the inauguration tomorrow. What does people think is going to happen? Is anything going to happen? Today's the day that Q have been telling us is going to be the day that it all comes crumbling down. The Obama administration. We're going to see Hillary Clinton in a chastity belt as she's taken to jail, all cuffed up. And do you know, I'm thinking about if I got fucking nicked, and I was kicking off, what would they do? They couldn't fucking tie my legs together, could they? So we have to boot them. Thomas Tierney says there's going to be a riot. Definitely getting them this year. No green screen psyop. Sorry, it's here. It's just that it's a bit claustrophobic and it gets in, and I was a bit rushed tonight. So anyway, I've invited Paul on. If Paul Cotty is I've sent him the message with the link. So if you want to jump on, Paul, let's talk about some of the stuff that's been going on. I mean, it's just crackers. They're fighting online. People are fighting with each other. I was talking to the guy today who's going to be on next week. We had quite an in-depth conversation about what is going on, what's going on with the old media, and he's not fucking a bit like me. I'm not really that. I'm not really. I'm not really taken by alt media. You know, it just seems crap. It seems clickbait nonsense. So Biden will forget his inauguration and not turn up. He'll probably sleep in it. Probably not him anyway. They'll send somebody that can fucking talk. Can you imagine him? He's trying. Have you seen these videos of him trying to talk? And he's talking out of his fucking arse. Yeah, exactly. We've got 250,000 small businesses no more. We've got mental health problems going through the roof. And this is all for a lockdown that is completely unnecessary. We know that it's completely unnecessary because of the survival rate of people that catch this deadly when they said deadly virus, you think to yourself, fucking hell, this is going to be like the plague, and you're going to have a cross on your fucking house, and this is probably what's going to happen. I've had a letter today saying that I've got to wait in turn for my fucking COVID vaccine. I'll wait in turn. Just put me at end. If you've got 7 billion. If you've got 7 billion vaccines made, I'll be number 7,000,000,001. But yeah, someone has got to be held accountable for the complete and utter destruction of our society. It's not just our working environment and these small businesses. Although I do really, because I know listeners to this show that have got small businesses, ethical businesses, who've been in contact with me, who perhaps would like to come on the show and tell us what it's like, but can't, simply because of the positions that they're in, and they've got to protect. Really, in this situation, you've got to protect your family and your children and stuff. So you've got to keep your job. I mean, it's a no-brainer, really. You get your job. Utopia follows dystopia, says Blazing Stars. But how long's the dystopia going to fucking last? We've been living in it for God knows how long, for my entire life. We've been living in a fucking dystopia. We've got there's just no end to it. I watched the local evening news, our local evening news here tonight calendar, accidentally, by the way. And for once, the vaccine was what was the top story. How many vaccines have we got? Vaccines being. Here's somebody having a vaccine, and then there's pictures of fucking queues of people. I mean, what? Why? What are you doing that for? Stick something in you. The fear is incredible. The fear that is going round is incredible. It's fucking nuts. It's absolute fucking nuts. Let me see what I've got. Oh yeah, and then we've got all these scrounging adverts scrounging all the fucking time. Evening Webby. We've got adverts all the time, just telling us that subliminally. I mean, the jab and what is it? What was the Ryanair thing? Jab and go. Was it jab and go? Jab and go. Is that? It sounds like fucking boxing advice to me. But this is what it's going to be like. So we are going to have to try to not leave the country. We'll have to, us non-vaxxers, by the way, the COVID deniers were called now. We used to be called the they like the word denier because it you know, the connotations with Holocaust is it is plain to see, and it's one of those. It's quite a powerful word, especially when you put something else with it. You know, if you're denying something, it's just fucking the if you put denier, it makes it 10 times worse, if you know what I mean. I remember back in the day when we were doing 9/11 Truth, and we were fucking really at it. And we were honestly, we'd be up all night. I'd be up all night. I'd DJ until about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd come home and it'd be light. I think it was about, you know, it used to be about 6, 7, or 8 o'clock in the morning before I went to bed, because I were online and I were looking at stuff and researching and doing all that sort of stuff. Back in, you know, I'm talking back in the day, more than 15 years ago. But we were called 9/11 deniers when we weren't denying 9/11 happened at all. In fact, I once got arrested. I got arrested one April. I got arrested, and the coppers came round and said to me, "Listen, I need to get this off my fucking case." He says, "I just need you to come in, and we'll have you out in 20 minutes, 40 minutes, I think he said." I had me own way in an hour. Well, he didn't have me own way in an hour, but I was home within an hour. But he said to me, that one of the things he said to me just before, after the tape had gone off and he'd interviewed me, he said, "I don't know how anybody can think that 9/11 didn't happen." And I said, I don't think 9/11 didn't happen. I said, "I know it happened, but who's responsible? You're a copper, aren't you?" And he didn't take that very well, which coppers don't. They don't like to be told, you know, that they're fucking idiot. They don't like their idiocy to be pointed out. But they are fucking weasels as well, fucking little weasels. So any coppers listening, I hope you get to your new duties as a COVID officer. You'll be head of COVID, and you will you'll be able to tell everybody what they can and cannot do. So it's you know, I'm a pig, yes, you are, but not that sort of pig, man, Eve. You're not that sort of pig. But you're a bit of a lefty. We had a bit of a conversation on it, anyway, a bit lefty. So, workers' rights. Workers' rights, workers' rights. Oh, I've got somebody with me. It's Paul Cotty. Good evening, Paul. How are you doing, mate?
Good, thanks. I'm not sure if you can hear me there. Can you?
Oh, you're coming through loud and clear, mate.
All right, I think the video is a bit distorted or something.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
How are you?
The sounds are too good this end. Hang on a second, I'll just adjust this. How's the sound now?
The sound's fine. It's been fine since you came on here.
Yeah, no, it just sounds a bit rough this end, to be honest. Yeah, things are grand with me, Jay. How's things with you? Are you enjoying all this lockdown?
Oh, well, you see, the lockdown, it's really a busman's holiday for me. I mean, I've not been really out of house very much over the last few months, so it is a bit of a busman's holiday. I know exactly what's on TV when it's on TV with the stuff I want to watch, like the old, you know, the Bill. Oh, I love the old Bills. And when they come on, and me and my wife sit there singing, "The Bill, the Bill, the Bill, the Bill, the Bill, the Bill, the Bill." So yeah, it's not too bad for me, and my wife's a key worker, so she's goes out and about. How's it up for you?
It's grand over here, yeah. Enjoying the madness anyway, so somebody has to enjoy the madness, don't they?
Well, yeah, of course you have. If you can't enjoy it, you know, it's just.
I was actually looking at you were talking about traveling and all this kind of stuff. I was looking at a video today with Dolores Cattle, and she's trying to get airlines and stuff like that together, free airline alliance or free travel alliance and stuff like that you don't have to have vaccines and all this kind of stuff.
Right. And how's that going? Is it having any? Is it getting anywhere?
Well, apparently she's in contact with a couple of different countries already. I'm not sure what way she's working out. I think she's looking at a private, a bit more private or smaller airports to get them involved and stuff like that. But she explains it very good that like it's costing the airports more for the plane to be on the ground because they still have to pay slotting fees and all this kind of stuff. Insurance, the pilots, you know, there's a hell of a lot of fees and they're missing out big time. But then as far as I know, I think they got bailed out or they're helping get with all this. I think did they get some funding or something? I think Trump was giving them something at one time, the airlines.
Right. I did see some today as well, which made me think to myself, fucking hell, that's a complete waste of money. That they'd given a company, I can't remember which company it were, but I think they give them 90 million quid just to keep them going. And we're getting along the bailouts, aren't we? We'll soon be. And then yesterday, I don't know if the vote went through, but the universal credit was reduced from £85 a week, £85 a week to £65 a week, I think. I don't get universal credit, so I don't know how much exactly it is. But I know they were slashing 20 quid off it. So, you know, it's the poor that are getting it again. The people right at the very bottom are getting all the shit. And the people at the top don't give a fuck.
David, come here. Look, when Trump said at first there's a storm coming, he meant there was a storm coming. And what are we on? The fourth wave. There's an awful lot of waves in a storm. So there is. And the only people I see getting affected is the ordinary people again.
Well, yeah, of course it is. That's all that's ever going to get. It's ordinary people pick up everything we picked up after 2008. You know, we're in this together. We're going. We have to make. This is what he said, Cameron. Were it Cameron in 2008? Weren't it? We're fucking Brown, that fucking silly one-eyed cunt. He fucking said, you know, we're all in this together and all that, but, you know, you're going to have to pay for this. Because what they did is they blamed it on subprime mortgages, which were bollocks. They'll always make an excuse, and it's always the man at the bottom that's going to get fucking trampled on, as we know. As Heath West, my most leftist friend ever. I mean, he's that left, honestly. He's fucking doesn't know what his right is. You know, he knows that. He knows that. You know, we're all going to get fucked. Universal credit, I believe, is £102 a week, and that includes the extra 20 quid. Well, I think they voted out the extra 20 quid last night. So it's just not going to fucking. It's not. It's us at the bottom. The 1,500 quid a day. The 1,500 quid a week. Fucking politicians take 20 quid off people who've got next to nothing at all. And you know, if they had anything, it had been sold to be able to feed the families and do whatever stuff they want to do. Oh, I'm left. Left. Go on.
No, I was going to say when you're talking, it's very distorted my end, so it is. It's not crystal clear, and I'm only picking up on so much of it.
Is anybody else? Is it clear for everybody else in chat room? Just let me know if it's my microphone, and then I'll I can adjust it, but I don't think it is. It might be my internet connection. It might be your internet connection. It could be any. It might be the sea in between us, because we've got. This is what I saw today. We've got a storm coming. Webby says it's crystal here, so it must be something to do with your whatever you're on. Perhaps you've got it. What are you using? Is it a laptop? Try going off and come it back on.
I'm going to cut off. I'm going to cut off and come back in just in case it is mine. Yeah.
That is a good idea. That is a great idea. So there you go. Anyway, but yeah. So we've got this storm coming in. It's going to piss it down with rain, and of course up here we've got all these places that are in valleys, and we're not like in Wales, but you know, we've got all these places in valleys and next to rivers up in West Yorkshire and all that, and everybody's waiting for this storm. Now, interestingly enough, I noticed the storm is called Christoph. Now, isn't that the bloke that was the fucking bloke in Truman Show that were doing it all? He was called Christoph, weren't he? Someone tell me if I'm wrong. Because I think that's I don't know if it's relevant, but it just seems strange, you know, that they've called it Christoph, and we've got this shit going on, this dystopian stuff, but it's going to piss it down. 48 hours of rain. Unfortunately for us, we're right on top of the hill, so we're not going to get we shouldn't get flooded. Here we go. We're going to try and add Paul again. See if it works. Paula says hugs and kisses, Raconteurs news. Sorry I didn't say hello. It's okay, Paula. It's always good to see you. Always good to see that you're in the chat box. Any better, Paul?
Well, I know when we start talking.
Go on then.
Yeah, no, I was just getting feedback, Jason, when you were chatting and that, and I was only picking up on some of what you were saying. So I just thought I'd cut off and try and come back and see if it was any better anyway. Okay,
and how is it? Is it any better or is it worse or what?
There's still a bit of distortion, but go on anyway. I'll try and make out. This big scamdemic bullshit, yeah? That's what I call it, this scandemic bullshit. And even this bullshit that spreads by saliva and all this kind of crap. This time last year, I was on remand, so I was. And because a couple of years ago, I was growing my own plants and making my own oil and try to help my own body and stuff. So I was in and out of the courts, and I was challenging the system for the right to use cannabis. But I didn't jump all over the net and look for crowds to get involved in all that. It was a private thing that I was doing. But anyhow, I stopped going into the courts and all sorts of stuff and try to walk and learn different things. But they brought me on remand there last year. And I was on a landing with about 25 of us. And there was one fella that had a cold or flu-like symptoms. He was a couple of years older than me. I'm 51. He was a couple of years older than me. And he said it was the worst he ever felt in his life. And he looked bad all week, stuck in his bed and everything else. He was a cleaner. Now, I was walking in the kitchens. I'd bring him up with cayenne pepper and certain turmeric and garlic and make up your own concoction type thing, you know. Myself and a couple of others were in and out of his cell, and do you know what I mean? We didn't hear the virus at this stage, so-called virus bullshit. So we were in and out of the cell, no bothers and everything else. A week or two later, God knows, your man has this cold, flu, the whole lot. The point is, nobody else on that landing got it. Nobody else on that landing got it, so they didn't. Nobody else I seen or anybody else got it, you know. But he also had a load of underlying conditions. He had heart problems, he had fucking blood pressure. I think he took a stroke already. you know, so we had a load of underlying condition. So even if a cold or a flu, there's some people did have a bit of a sniffly nose last year, this time of the year, cold flu season. But there was nothing heavy. And this is inside jail in a compact space, I remember. This is not outside in the open, where I'm talking about inside with compact spaces. And on top of that, if it passed with saliva, because in there, it's nasty when you see what goes on with some things and the depth. The boys that's on the methadone program in there, I call it the green diesel. In the morning time, they'll be all running down to the yard and they're getting the green diesel into them, so they are. But they hold it in their mouth and spit it into something and sell it on to others. They also do that with tablets, hold it in their mouth, take it out and share tablets. Now that's feckin' saliva being passed the whole time. So why wasn't the population in there coming down with all this shit? And then I was phoning, chatting to someone on the outside, for a good friend of mine, and he started going on about some virus and all this kind of bullshit and all that. He was going to get his son out of the job and stuff. And I think, hang on, what a load of crap, so, you know what I mean? Even then. So then it was after that, then in the jail system, people started hearing about this virus thing, and I don't know what they do. I think they actually went around doing some stupid test with your finger on the landing one night or something. God knows, it was some gobshite thing anyway. But even in there, the system at the moment, I believe they're on 23-hour bang up, and the whole lot, so they are, you know, it's like really gone locked down, the whole lot, so it is, unfortunate. In there is a place where they would pump the vaccines as well, because when you go into jail or force, did you go around asking you, had you got your Hep vaccination? And lucky enough, I had an understanding of the vaccinations, and I just went, well, before I consider taking any vaccination, unless someone can document and verify all harmful ingredients and who holds liability, I won't be taking anything.
You can't give informed consent unless you know what's in it.
Sorry?
I said you can't give. What you want to be able to give is informed consent. So, you know, you don't just give consent willy-nilly. You want to give informed consent. You can't give informed consent if you don't know what's in it, if you're not informed.
Absolutely, because, I mean, again, everything's a contract, and unless you've got full disclosure of everything, it cannot be a fair decision, so it can't. So, and that's why you'd look for, unless someone holds liability with a valid signed signature, because if there's no valid signed signature, it means there's no liability, it means there's no remedy, and if there's no liability, no remedy on the other side, what are you even considering anything within their paperwork or their needles or anything, if that makes sense, yes?
Yeah, of course it does. How can anybody who's Irish not make sense?
Yeah, so I was just bringing that up as a scenario, you know, for a closed spaces, and, you know, like someone having heavy cold-like flu symptoms, they can't be spread. That's absolutely shite, so it is coming out of people's mouths.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, someone's put in the chat room that, you know, if germ theory was true, kissing with tongues would have been wiped out long ago.
Absolutely. If germ theory was true, sure, kissing and all that, absolutely true. You know, so I mean, you have to look at the horse shite that you talk about. And I said when I came out of the Air Force, what's that question for Paul and chat? Paul and chat. If you could inject Gates, if you could inject Gates with anything, what would you inject him with? His own vaccine, of course. I mean, because the way I see it, look, if a man comes up, invents a vaccine tomorrow for any kind of bullshit, he should try it out first, and after him, the staff that he works with, then let the CEO and everybody within the company, then their shareholders, and if the government want to take it on board, that then try it, and then let it pass down the chain, and then we the people should be the last one to accept anything. But we should have the right to stand back for the next couple of years and watch the effects on all those people that try to push it upon us. But he who invents it should be the one that, I mean, the first man that invented an airplane, nobody stood up and says, "Here, I'll jump over a cliff and try it out for you." Do you know what I mean? They all laughed and thought, "Here, your man's not supposed to fly." He who invents it takes it force.
Yeah, whoever smelt it dealt it. That's what it should be. That's the one, isn't it? Like you say, if somebody says I've invented a flying machine, you're not going to take it without them doing it first. That's who it should be.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, and especially when it comes to a product that you're selling on afterwards.
Yeah, and it's making it's just going to make a complete fucking mock. Well, that's probably when we're going to see all deaths. If we see any deaths, I mean, there probably will be deaths because COVID is definitely real. You know,
it's a bit like the mask thing as well. All this you have to mandatory to wear a mask and all this kind of stuff. There's no law out there you have to wear a mask. I was in the courts a couple of months ago. I had to go into the courts. It's got to do with the cannabis again. So it was everything's grand. It went my way in the end. I'm happy enough for what I done, challenging our system and whatever happened in the end. Anyway, I'm still sitting here. But point being, anyway, I'm in the courts, standing in the big court area. Everybody's running around with a mask. Then the courts are butt off because of all this bullshit. Back in the courts again a couple of months later, there's one or two that hasn't got a mask, like some copper and all that. I'm standing chatting to a couple of lads. Some copper comes over and goes, "Where's his mask, lads?" Two boys in with take out their mask, button them on. One of them's complaining about you shouldn't have it on because of this breathing. And I went, "Why don't you just tell him you're exempting?" And the copper turns around to me, he goes, "Where's your mask?" I went, "I'm exempt." He goes, "Have you anything to prove?" I says, "Have you anything to prove I'm not?" He went to say, so he went to question again. "Well, can you show me?" I says, "Can you prove I'm not?" He fucked off. I went into the court, standing in front of the judge and everything else, smiling at him, whatever going on and all that. But I have no mask, he's no mask, happy days. Nobody says that, and nobody tried to. Why couldn't the guard do me, bring me in there and say, "Here, I want to fine him for not having a mask on." If you could do you for it. All you have to do is throw it again. Anybody goes in somewhere, somebody wants you to wear a mask, should take out a piece of paper, have your own little private contract if you know how to construct one correctly, and ask them to sign it. Can you sign there, hold a liability for any loss, harm, injury caused by me wearing this mask in this property, on this premises or property, wherever you want, like, get them to hold the liability of the mask. You're not refusing them. Nobody's refusing them. Nobody's, switch the game.
Yeah. I
like that everyone.
Put the onus on them to prove that you need to wear a mask rather than you having to prove that you don't need one. I mean, again, it's the turning round of they're innocent until proven guilty. You're actually fucking guilty because you walk into a place. I'm lucky. I've not been out. I've not had to go out. I've not been anywhere. I've not been, because I would have fucking by now probably be in prison or something because I'd have run some cunt over on my mobility scooter, and it's a big bastard, and it'd hurt because if he fucking stood in front of me, he's going over.
But the worst thing about I don't know what crack is in prison. I was talking to a young lad one day, and he says when you go into jail, you're in solitary confinement and segregated from everything for world. But it's going to be the same in there without masks and this, that, and the other. I think that I seen Webby had it in there, and I was actually looking at myself earlier on about Germany, on about putting people into camps.
Yeah. For
breaking the COVID rules. Why is that? Because they can't put them in jails because it's not a civil or criminal matter. Well, it is a civil matter if you've contracted or want to accept or bullshit. Civil matter converted into criminal.
Yeah, of course it is, but it's
the whole idea. Look, the whole idea is the system push these things upon us to get us to accept it, and they also get us to accept the liability as well along the lines. Switch the whole thing around and start putting them, asking them to accept liability. Sign that, accept the liability. before I consider this. Yeah, sign that before even. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't mean that you're going to put a big note in there under UCC law and all that kind of bloody crap. You know, you just need a couple of wardens.
Paul Williams has made a good point. Getting knocked over by a car and killed within 28 days of getting a COVID test positive, and it's COVID that killed you, which is true. But that's now 60 days. So if you've had a positive COVID test and then 59 days later you decide to hang yourself, it's COVID that's killed you. And
hang on.
It is.
The key thing here is when they're giving you a COVID test, it doesn't matter whether it's PCR tested or whatever kind of test. It's what are they testing for, and who is the manufacturers of the testers? It wouldn't be the same manufacturers as the vaccines by any chance, or the same shareholders by any chance, would they?
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then what they'll do is when people who've had a vaccine, I think in Norway, weren't they 33 elderly people? I think 23 in one single home, old people home that died after having the COVID vaccine, and they just say, oh, it's just a coincidence. It was their time anyway. They were old, and this is what we're going to get. You know, he was crippled. You know, he only got one leg, so it don't matter. You know, all this sort of, because to be after us next,
one of the
cripples.
One of the local TV stations actually reported on that over here. There was a video going around, RTE, Royal Irish Television, it's known as, but they reported it over here, that case. And they brushed it off as if it was nothing. Oh, 23 died. What was it? What way did they say? A small minority, something. But they brushed it off as if they were nobody. It was actually disgusting the way they done it, you know, brushing them off as if they were nobody. And then somebody else made a comment I seen that, oh, they had underlying conditions and they were old and frail. Hang on, they're supposed to be protecting people with underlying conditions, old and frail. And if the vaccine's killing them because they got underlying conditions, and as I saying, they died of underlying conditions, well, how comes when someone dies without the vaccine, if they die of underlying conditions, you're putting it down as a virus? It's twisted. They twist it all to suit their agenda.
Yeah. On our local TV tonight, I think they said that in the last 24 hours, bearing in mind Yorkshire's the largest county in England, and it incorporates Humberside and Lincolnshire, these statistics, that Humberside's still Yorkshire, it's East Yorkshire now, isn't it? But, you know, they put Lincolnshire in there as well. There were 39 deaths today, you know, in the last 24 hours. Now, when it broke them down, there were 8 deaths in Sheffield. Now, we've got 2 major hospitals here in Sheffield, 2 major hospitals, and we can definitely say that all those 8 people definitely didn't. Some might have died of a flu-like symptoms because you know, they were old and what have you. But but heart attacks, anything like that, you're going to get that every single day. And yet these are put down to COVID. COVID has cured everything else. No, nothing else exists. There's no that you don't get a cold anymore.
Is Chris O'Rourke is something in there, is it? I can't. Kerry Mullins. Yeah, invented the PCR test and said it was bullshit. Is that PCR test not for testing whether for cancer? And all cancer is dead cells, so it is. That's what cancer is. It's dead cells. And that's what they're checking. They call it the RNA and all that. But RNA is actually cells on that, isn't it? And like again, cancer cells is cells that's died of two too slowly. That's what causes cancer, when your cells die too slowly, or your cells can die off too fast, which is another reaction. And then also our cells can be killed off through toxins and poisons. And if our body is not strong enough to produce the substance to clean all that, it can break down the body. So that's the idea of feeding the right things into your body, creating new cells within your body, pH of the body right, voltage of the body right, just like a bloody car. If nothing's right, the car's not going to go.
Is this true that Kerry Mullis is dead?
Do you know what? Actually, I think there was posts going around and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I've not heard of that, but then again, I don't even know what a fucking PCR test is. What's that? Is it a fucking?
It was the test. I think that's what I'm saying. As far as I know, it was invented a force, and it was for testing. It was got to do with cancer or something like that. Well, what they're testing for is the cells. It's the effect on the cells, dead cells, and the way the cell dies can tell an awful lot. You know, if your cells are dying too slow, I don't know what way they do the whole. I don't really know the whole scientific end, as I said, and I won't pretend to neither, so I won't.
One flew over the cuckoo's nest. That's what we're in. Kung flew over the cuckoo's nest. That's for sure. That's one big Remo. That's a good observation there.
It's actually one flew over the cuckoo's nest. This is the reverse. The lunatics are running this asylum. Welcome to the New World Asylum, run by the lunatics.
Yeah, whereas if you've got a fucking plastic bag over your head, you're okay. You know, when you fucking covering your entire face and your body, and you're walking down the street with a fucking square on your head. Have you seen them? Like where people can, it's like a square thing, and it goes on your shoulders, and you're in. I mean, and they will call us tinfoil hat wearers. It's just crazy. Everything's gone nuts. Webster reporter said he's dead, and he invented a test that not only shows what's in your body, it's not a diagnostic tool. So, all right. So it only shows what's in your body. It doesn't. It's not a diagnostic tool. Yeah. And Sean Amos put Mullis won a Nobel Peace Prize for his invention and was Fauci's nemesis. I call murder. Well, you know, if he's a nemesis of someone like on the scale of Fauci, then he's gonna he's gonna die, innit? I mean, let's face it. It's that's their side. That's what they do. I mean, they all appear to be loving and giving and wanting you know, fucking diversity. I mean, what the fuck does that even mean? Fucking diversity. It's diverse in here. I've got fucking red cans. I've got a fucking green truck. Look, with my name on it. It's not got anybody else's name on it. I'll probably get done for it not having Mohammed written on side, or fucking, I don't know, fucking Lennox or something. But yeah, it's just crazy. 33 dead now in Norway. 33 yet again. Well spotted. I didn't think of that. Health Freedom UK.
It's a strange number, all right. I agree with Paula there. 33 is a strange number, so it is.
It is. We've got movement. Oh, there we go. I've got one of them cages. My dog had to be in it today because he fucking bit me hand, the little bastard. I don't know where he is now. He'll be downstairs fucking chewing something up that I shouldn't be. What do you make of all these governments that seem to be falling, or reportedly falling, throughout Europe? I mean, Merkel's supposed to be.
I seen that the other day about Angela Merkel going to step down. There's a couple of other governments that's on about stepping down. Then they're on about Wasn't there something over there in England with Boris Johnson? They were telling him to open the lockdown or step down type thing. Me and a friend were just chatting about that today. Are they the last ones that's going to push a lot of these agenda, just like Angela Merkel, bringing in these camps and all that, bringing all that in before they step down?
Yeah. It's,
you know, like even with the Trump, all this Trump and QAnon horse shit, I kept saying to everybody, yeah, it's a great show, but like the people are still suffering. Nothing has changed for the people. Oh, he's going to do this, and everybody, this is.
Whoops, we seem to have lost Paul. He's disappeared. Give it to Laura. Nice one, Eve. I don't know what that means. I'll come visit you once you get rid of that dog. That dog's not going, mate. That dog's not going. I love my dog, even though he's a wanker and he bites me. But I can take a little bit of a bite, a little bit of a nip, you know, from a little terrier. I can take that and I don't hide behind the door. So I'll be all right. All right, let's have Cotty is back. Paul is back. Camps are bullshit. But are they bullshit?
Sorry?
You never can tell, can you? Are you there, mate?
Yeah, the reception just said it's not great again. Yeah, you can hear me there, yeah?
Seems not. I can't hear him anyway. Can't hear you, Paul. I don't know if you can hear us, but we can't hear you. See you later, Dave. Welsh Dave. Chewed away his leg, that wee dog. Hound has been captured. Paul, are you there, mate?
Can you hear us there now?
I can hear you perfectly clear.
Grand.
There is a
Sorry, but I don't know why I think it just... Go on.
I'm just going to say there is a little bit of a delay, so we need to be aware of that. So you know, if you keep talking, if you're talking.
Yeah. So there's still a bit of a break in when I'm listening to you, but yeah, we'll continue anyway, or I'll try.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So apparently the Estonian government have all resigned, haven't they? The Italian government are on the verge of resigning. The Italian restaurants are opening up as we speak. They'll be open because they've just said bollocks to you. We're going to open, so they've opened. That's got to be a good thing. So, can you see anything happening similar to that in Ireland or the UK?
Well, they're not talking about taking down any governments yet. They're just talking about more enforcements. That's what they're talking about over here.
Enforcements. Yeah, they want to make some money out of this.
Sorry?
They want to make some money out of this, don't they?
Yeah. They're talking, there's an awful lot of talking, I think it's the same as over there, food shortages. And a friend of mine, I was only chatting to someone earlier on today, actually, and they were telling me that, someone apparently that walks into warehouses over here in the little storage, and where, say, for instance, they usually get 6-7 containers in a week, only one container in this week.
Right. What are they blaming that on? I mean, what is that down to the COVID?
It's down to they're putting it down to the Britex now because everything, like a lot of stuff that we get imported comes through Britain, so it does. France, from Europe into France to Britain and then over. Same as Northern Ireland, the north of Ireland there, they depend on, most of our own food gets shipped out, and then we depend on all this other rubbish coming in.
Right. People mentioning Great Reset as well. I mean, what do you make of that? And I don't know whether it's bullshit.
The reset?
Yeah, the Great Reset.
Yeah, well, there is a great reset, Sodas, and they've been saying it a long time. You see, you have to remember, it's a whole new world. We're going into the AI, the whole new AI revolution. That's what it's all about. It's a whole AI revolution, and I mean, that's part of these vaccines as well. And most people say, oh, it's a conspiracy. In the vaccines, there's RNA. You look into the RNA, and it's genetically modified RNA. There's genetically modified protein in that. Anything genetically modified goes into your body, genetically modifies you. You become GMO, and they have a patent, if that's the correct wording for it. They automatically own you now. Some people say there's actually also chips going in. Whether there's chips in the vaccine or not, I don't know. So I'm not going to say there is. But what I do know is they're leading 2 buttonless chips into it. When they put chips into, they're leading that to put chips into us. When we do get chipped, now we become GMO, but we're also the artificially intelligent part of that whole grid system, because we connect up to the whole grid system. So we do.
Yeah.
So they claim ownership through. Sorry, yeah, go on.
So if there's a chip in it, when people are being injected with a chip, then that just is total and utter, just complete surveillance in it of everybody. And the documentary, I think the documentary, is it The Social Dilemma? Have you seen that?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
It's on Netflix. It's called The Social Dilemma, and it's all about social media, and how everything can be manipulated. You know how it you get manipulated by it. If you got your phone in your pocket, this is what always my fucking phone's going off, and it's nothing. It's no. I had this thing that kept popping up. It kept going do and doing its thing, and I'd have a look, and it would say, "Turn on, find my phone, even when it's off." So it was like a thing. So it would find your phone. It wanted me to turn it on, to find my phone. If I lost it, and it was turned off, I'd still be able to find it. So it's. They're trying to get our consent. I had to look online to see how to stop it, because I was getting it 3 or 4 times a day, and it was really pissing me off. And that's what it does. It takes your attention. It takes your attention. It grabs your attention. It'll do something, some bullshit, and then you've got your phone in your hand. And once you've got your phone in your hand, that's it. It wants you to be doing stuff and scrolling, and then. It knows what you're doing. It knows what you're feeling, because it can see what you're looking at. It can see what it can see. It'll know if you're looking at pictures of perhaps an ex or something like that. It'll know. So then it'll. Again, I said if. Come here, Go on. Sorry
for cutting in there. It's just as I said, yours there's a distortion in when you're talking. Apologies for that.
It's all right, mate. It's okay. Can you hear me now? I have to do that, didn't I? I look like Mark Devlin. Yes, we give it to you. That's what I want. No, I'm sitting here. I can't talk like Mark Devlin, sorry. But I like how he uses his microphone. It's a DJ way, But I can't sit here with a microphone, holding the microphone up for 2 hours. Otherwise, I'd get a cramp in my hand. What I was saying is that social media, it not only demands our attention. When it's got our attention, it knows what to do with it. If you're one of them people that looks at, I've been watching a lot of these things on YouTube while I've been ill about Everest, and about last year in 2019, Everest, and you know, and I was fascinated how people were going up, and you're passing bodies on way, people that have died. You're passing bodies on way, and then there was this picture of people queuing to get to the summit. Now, at that point, you're in what they call the death zone. Before you get to the summit, you're in what you call the death zone, which means that you're starting to die. You're beginning to die because of the lack of oxygen. And there's a fucking queue. And all these people have got oxygen on, but they've only got so much oxygen. And they've got to at some point decide, is it worth me getting to the top, or do I go to the bottom? Do I go back down? Because I'm not going to get to the top. They were a huge queue. 800 people, I think they were, trying to get up to Mount Everest at the time. Up one single thing. And they're all using one rope as a to be clicked onto. And it's just crazy, man. So, it's, I don't know what my point we're going to be, but it will. Oh, that's what artificial intelligence will know when you're looking at something like that, and it might make you feel a little bit melancholy, and then it'll send you something else that will make you feel a bit melancholy, and before you know it, your phone or your mobile device or your tablet or whatever is dictating your mood. It's dictating how you spend your day. It's dictating how much time you have for other things in your day, and this is what not so much us that are listening to this or on this call, but anybody who's a fucking millennial. My daughter, when she comes around, she's just on the phone all the time. When not talking, we'll talk, but then she's still a phone will ding, and she'll have to pick it. She's got to pick it up. She's got to pick it up and see what it is. Whereas me, I can just, if it dings, I just I'll wait until I fucking pick the phone up again. Nothing's.
I think majority of the time it's going ding at the moment is people could be having a conversation, talking about holidays, talking about shoes, talking about anything, and next the phones are going ding, ding, and they're giving you all the advertisements that you've just been chatting about.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. What did it do with my wife? We were talking about something. In fact, the fucking telly did it yesterday. We were talking about something, and then an advert for it came on. And I can't remember what it were. I don't think telly's fucking watching me, because we haven't got a camera or a microphone in it. But it was just weird how these things occur. And soon it will be, when you have an ad break on a television program, it will be that everybody will have ads that are for them, that are specifically designed for them, that targeted at them. So everybody will have that. We're going mental into this technocracy. Somebody put up here, Blade. So the virus happens and all conspiracists think New World Order has taken over. New World Order took over ages ago. Don't give a fuck what you said. New World Order took over ages ago. We don't have any democracy.
Right. Well, first of all, I think he needs to look at the word conspiracy, right? Conspiracy came about when JFK was shot and so forth. Apart from that, anybody that calls someone a conspiracy, they don't say they're lying. They say it's a conspiracy. Why don't you just say they're lying? Because it's not a lie. Third, if you go in front of a judge for conspiracy to rob a place, let me see you try and get your ass out of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the judge, you'll get time for conspiracy to rob, conspiracy to kill, conspiracy to commit fraud. They're all taken as fact in court, are they not?
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah.
So it can't be two ways. It's either fact or it's not in fact. Anybody that's going to court for conspiracy of robbery or anything like that, get in contact with Starblaze or wherever, and he'll write you up something saying that it's just bullshit and a lie, and he'll be able to prove it, and just give that to the judge, and you're sweet.
Sean Hamer, conspiracy deniers are the dumbest of the. Oh, wrong one. BitChute says there is no conspiracy. I think there is. There are people that are conspiring. This pandemic, they didn't just go, let's just lock everybody up. You know, nobody did that on their own. There were people conspiring to do that. Now, what happens is when you put the word conspiracy and then theory next to it, but when you point out to them, well, hang on a minute, fucking gravity's a theory. Gravity's theoretical.
Come here. Yeah, I just want to address something here. Can I just address something here? Sorry for calling in. It's just what I say. Chris O'Rourke is here. Q goes back to JFK. Yeah, guess what? Hollywood goes back to JFK's father. He helped set it up, so he did. He even helped fund a couple of films. And we all know what we think of Hollywood. It's all one big movie.
Yeah, it is. It's like the dressing room, innit, for this thing that goes on. Look, there are conspiracies. People do conspire to do things. Myself and Paul have tonight conspired to get on this show together and talk. Right, that's a conspiracy. We've conspired it.
Absolutely. You sent me a message earlier on. Sorry, go ahead, Jay. Sorry for running.
What people don't understand is the actual real meaning of the word conspiracy has been fucking completely bastardized and added to theory. So anybody, I mean, I remember fucking years ago, I wrote some on Facebook, and somebody who was a friend of mine, he was a friend from school. So I'd added him on Facebook and stuff. And I wrote something, and he's put underneath, that's quite a conspiracy theory. And I said, well, why? What's theoretical about it? And, you know, who's conspiring? You know people are conspiring. You know people are conspiring. No, it wasn't you. It was Mark Bowden. Mark Bowden, you remember that fucking soft cunt? Fucking thick as two fucking short planks. 18-year-old, married first bloke he fucked, woman he fucked. Bit of a fucking Freudian slip there. Married first woman that let him into her knickers. Still with her now. Fucking, she's, you know, I don't know what the relationship's like. But it's just a man with no world, he's got no, apart from his own little life, he's got no knowledge of the outside world and what goes on. That's you know what you don't know what's going on. How can you not know what's going on? How can anybody not think? How can anybody now think that this is about a virus that most people, the majority, in fact, a fraction of the people that contract it die, and they're usually people with underlying conditions like they would do with flu. So basically, it's a flu. But we didn't shut fucking woolies down, did we? Because there were a bit of flu going round back in day. You know, everyone, you get these, there's a bug going around. Oh, yeah. And they fucking get it out of the way. You know, I haven't had flu since fucking years and years ago. And it won't fucking. It were horrible. It were a cunt. It were fucking horrible. We all got it. Everyone in the house. I got it. My wife got it. I got it first. My wife got it, and then my stepson got it. And I was because I'd had it first. I was the one that were coming out of it first. I went to check on Connor, my stepson, who's type 1 diabetic, and his fucking blood sugar. I tested. He was out of it, and I tested his blood sugar, and it was too high for the machine. So I had to start then going in every hour and injecting him with fucking insulin until I got him to a point where and it took a long time. So, when you've got flu, any sort of flu, if you've got proper flu, like they said, if there's a tenner on the floor, you wouldn't even be able to go get it, pick it up. That's how.
Look, Jay, from my understanding, right, everybody stops at the cold and flu and all that. From my understanding, I'm not a doctor or that, neither is Trump. Sorry, neither is Bill Gates a doctor, so we're both on the same page here. But my understanding is your body detoxes. And that's why colds and flus come into it, is when your body is detoxing. From stuff I've looked into, and I ain't no fucking doctor or scientist or anything like that, but I could understand that much of things. Everybody stops at the cold or flu, but when you look into these colds and flus and all that, and what they are, and what's going on in the body, when they happen and that, and then when our body's detoxing, we all eat different, we all take different toxins on board and everything else, and our body's got a detox different, so we're all individual, if not,
Paul Williams has put, we're just livestock to the government, but it's been ingrained into our society. I know how we always said right at the very beginning when the phrase "new normal" came about, and we were like, everybody were like, "You fucking fuck off." I didn't even like old normal. I don't want a fucking new one, especially if your cunt's fucking doing it. But it's been implemented. I mean, I saw an advert today. I saw an advert on TV, Halifax advert, right? You know the bank, Halifax. And it says, we know times are hard and what have you, and we are phoning up our customers and asking them if there's anything that we can do for them at this time. And I said, I just fucking said out loud, what are you going to do if you fucking ring somebody up and they go, oh, well, yeah, put some more money in my account. If you want to help me, stick some more fucking money in my account. They're not doing that. It's just virtue signaling. It's just saying we're doing something. We're helping you. We're on your side. We help you. Once you're vaccinated, you'll be able to come back in and draw money out with your chip. But if you've been vaccinated, if your chip's going to be in your arm, you're going to have to do, aren't you? Or will they come up and, there you go. There's your. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. And I'm wondering whether the actual take-up of the vaccine is as much as is being reported, because I certainly won't be taking it, and I don't even know anybody, even the nurses and people that come here. I've not had anybody says that they're going to take it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where propaganda comes in, and they use propaganda into getting us to take it. There's something I wanted to address there. Again, I see people on about Trump and this, that, and the other, and there was no wars, he created no wars and all that. The Great Reset was planned a long time ago, so it was. And what's going on today, it was all planned a long time ago. Now, when Trump came into power and all that, and the last year and all that, coming up to the Great Reset, there seemed to be a lot of peace all right throughout the world. Very convenient that there's a lot of peace coming into the reset. And part of that reset is one world order. Now, if you had one world order, there shouldn't really be any wars underneath that, should there? By right.
Well, no, because, there's just one world.
Yeah. So, now this is only my own head thinking, the way I think of things. So I'm not saying this is all true, far from it. None of us can say it is. But the way I try and look at things in different ways and all that. And the way I see it, hang on, he's in there, blah, blah, blah. He's brought about peace and everything else. So this is coming into a new world order and everything else. So why would there be any war under a new world order? So that doesn't make sense. If there was, it wouldn't be one world order. There wouldn't be any order at all, would there? Let alone one world order.
Well, how are they gonna make order out of places in Africa? You know, Rwanda and Somalia and all these places where they're having civil wars, and there's one going on. The only war going on in Burma. I mean, how are you going to impose a one world order onto them? I mean, you just can't. All they're doing is they're going for the fucking people that are making that are creating the wealth in the West, and they're fucking taking it off them.
Well, they create a lot of civil wars rather than country wars at the moment, isn't it? Civil wars and stuff like that, which is all disturbance, puts governments out of places. Government out of places bring martial laws into places, and then also brings all these emergency acts and all the new yokes that was brought into place the last year or two. I mean, that goes on, there's a reason for it. It's a well-wrote script.
Say that again.
It's a well-wrote script. They have a well-wrote. I don't understand all script. Don't get me wrong, but they have it's one big movie and it's a well-wrote script, and they have all their actors in places.
Yeah, and if we do, if even, I mean, we're in January, so even a year ago, we would have never. I was going to bring up another yoke there, actually, which was strange enough for seeing this week, and I'm sure a few have seen it. For all the money and wealth and power they have and all these elites, Benjamin Rothschild, 57 years of age, and died. Apparently of a heart attack or something like that. Who's that?
Benjamin Rothschild.
Oh, yeah.
To the Rothschild's empire. His father was Eamon the Rothschild and Benjamin the Rothschild. Now, I'm not too sure if that's the same one I would have read stuff on a couple of years ago. And they were classing him as the next Messiah and all this kind of stuff when they were on about the Messiah, and some people were pointing towards him, you know, and stuff that I was reading way back then. But just found that strange now the other day. But my point being, all the money you can have and everything else. There you go. I heard 3 Rothschilds died in the last 3 months. There's Johnny in there, so.
Yeah.
That's strange. 3 of them actually. 3 is the magic number. Yeah, 3 of them is a good one, all right.
Someone's put Anthony Moore. Here we go. Just so you can make what I did. Phone has numbers on it. Name comes from the pH alkaline of the body. If your pH is 9, you're very healthy, but if your pH is 1, you're dead. Don't know what that refers
pH.
to.
Absolutely, the pH of the body has to be correct, so it does. And what's the pH of the body is 9. Yeah, I thought the pH of the body was actually 7.2, and the voltage of your body is 9 point something, which is just under 1 kilowatt. And that's why you should alkalize your body a bit more as well. Alkalizing is correcting the voltage in the body. But I thought it was 7.2 was the pH of the human body. Again. Yeah.
I was just looking because we've got Phil Spector died, didn't he, recently? And I was just looking to see if he were on death sweep that we had. In fact, you know, everybody who on the death sweep is still alive. So we're saving people here. We're saving people by doing a death sweep because we're that crap at it. Anybody who's on it is guaranteed to live. Dinny's. Anyway, Paul, that pissed me off today, but grand now. Cheers. That must be an answer to a question from East West has put, fuck the pH. How much wine can I drink? Drink as much as you want, brother. Perhaps a prosecco or something like that. Don't you lefties like that? A bit of prosecco. Sean Amer, let's give them Let's give them demonstrable truth and verifiable legal fact, not conspiracy theory. I mean, you see, this is the thing. You know what they said, don't they? You know what they used to say when back in the old. I keep going back to the old days, but that's when they had actual people that really put. When somebody had put some information, the people who were doing the debunking, as they called it, they would do proper work and fucking put a thing together. And they'd always say extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, evidence, right? I can only hear me send, Paul. Yeah, go on, next step. Can you hear me?
Bad feedback this end.
Have you got a headset?
I have, and I bought it on a while ago and it didn't make a difference.
It didn't make a difference.
Unless I try and change the settings and see.
Aliens, call Andy, says Heath. Strange that I'm talking about him today. I'm not interested enough. Oh, I missed that one. Any interesting guests, Jason? Yeah, I've got one on next week. You're going to love him. You're going to love him. We used to have him on before, years ago, about 4 years ago, I think, last time we had him on. He's going to be... he's probably going to stir up a bit of a hornet's nest for you lot, but I like that. I like it when we get into the meat. We're not an echo chamber here. Unfortunately, we are literally, but we're not. We try not to be an echo chamber in here. Next week you're going to love him. He's called Paul. He's an insider in the old money game. We used to have him on. A few years ago, he does the Sirius report. He's called Paul. So he's going to be on next week. And I've had a chat with him today, and he has got some ideas that are probably going to really rattle everybody. Not in the Neil Sanders way, because the Neil Sanders way, I mean, the Neil Sanders, you just fucking hated him. So I'm going to bring him back soon, so that you can. You can. Is it Webby, Jason? No, he's a good, decent enough bloke. We'll talk about geopolitics and how it is all between China and Russia. I don't know whether it's a battle for the leadership of the world. You see, might be what we've got going on is a battle for the leadership of the one world order. If we had a new world order, I mean, people will keep saying, "Oh, there's no new world order." They keep saying it. Gordon Brown said it. Fucking Bush Senior said it on September 11th, 1991, exactly 10 years before 9/11. Don't forget as well, it's 20 years since 9/11 this year. Is the anniversary, the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So if you think you're going to be fucking going out and doing anything at any point this year, you're not. You might as well wipe this fucking year off. Get Mark Windows on. All right. No thanks. He's. I can see right through him. China, USA, Russia, all mates. Yeah, I agree. But among mates. Among friends, among families, animals are the same. They have a hierarchy, and there's always a battle for that hierarchy. If you watch some on lions, a lion, there'll be a lion that's head at pride, and then one of the young lions will come and have a go and get fucked off, and then eventually some lion will come and will nick the pride off the big lion guy. I mean, lions. I'm just talking lions. I sound like David Brent, don't I? But I know they're all mates, but mates can fall out. Mates can try to maneuver themselves into positions where the leader of the pack. I mean, when I was a kid, when I was growing up, there were a bunch of us, Bulmer and all them wankers that I used to hang about with. I think there were like a hierarchy, and down at bottom were Dean, who used to get fucking punched in face. In fact, I think we pushed his head through a window once for a laugh. You know, we'd punch him in face just for a laugh. Well, I wouldn't, but but Bully would punch him in face. And there's a hierarchy. So even being in mates, there is some sort of competition, a hierarchy. So saying that the mates, I mean, Russia and America have already had a proxy war in Syria, which Russia won. You know, it's fucking really complicated. We'll get into it next week. You're going to love him. His name's Paul.
All wars are corporated wars.
Yeah, of course they are. Of course they are, but they do serve a purpose as well. I mean, what's the point in winning a war because you just want to make some money? You don't, do you? You want to make more money once you've won war, and you want to look what we did to Germans. I mean, it was 2012 when they paid the last reparations for World War II. 2012 or 2010, we were won all that. I mean, that's fucking 60 years after it's finished. It's all finished. Reparation, and by then, because Germany weren't allowed to make arms, build arms or anything like that, they got the act together and started building cars. Now we build best cars in the world. You know, German engineering's renowned around the world. And we think we fucking won war. I've been to Germany. I know what it's like. It's a lot better than this shithole, I'll tell you now. Fucking Spain isn't, and they're skint.
Do you know what war is? A rich man's game, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Because all the soldiers are insured. The armies are private corporated businesses. The soldiers are insured, so it's the shareholders that win the whole time. And just like someone has in there about the Vatican, the banks, the Rothschilds are merely the holders of the Vatican debt. That's absolutely correct. The Vatican is also a corporated business since the 1400s. So who's the shareholders of that?
Yeah, that'll be the fucking Lloyd Names, won't it?
Who's the shareholders of the Vatican? You see, the Vatican, and then when people talk about popes far from a powerful man in the world or presidents, they're only workers. Now, if I was the most powerful man in the world, the last thing I'd be doing is going out to work, act as a president, or play any part in the world stage. Why would I do that when I've got all the actors to do it for me? So my life would be too busy, and my friends would be too busy working how to keep this system going and getting on with our own private lives and doing things, constructing our world wherever it is. But they're not out there, the ones doing all these speeches, and they're far, far from it.
Yeah, the people that start the wars, that cause the wars, they're not the one that die in the wars. They're the one that profit from them. No, nobody, in fact, they say nobody wins a war, but they do. It don't matter who wins, which side wins. The banks are bankrolling both sides.
Absolutely. We see there was a time where they fought over land and all that kind of stuff. I mean, even when you read into the Rothschilds, they learned about privatized army, renting armies out to other countries. And an army, when a country, if I was fighting with you, Jay, right, and your country and my country, and we're fighting, we've got the soldiers out there, and we're the best of buddies behind it all. We're just corporate wars and that. We're related, even on top of that, we're related, yeah? Because most of these lot are. So they're all fighting over there, and it's a chess game, and you get the better of me, yeah, and I have to pay then for your army and the money you invested into that. So a great way of that then is let a lot of my soldiers die off. I claim the insurance on them, so I do. On top of that, then I don't have to pay the half of them wages and all that, so I don't.
No.
You know, we're writing off the debt holders and stuff.
Dinny's asked a question. What's your take on online banking, please?
It's going to be we're fucked with the online banking. We're fucked with it because they're in control of every part of our life then. And unfortunately, there's not enough of us that's going to be able to trade amongst ourselves or anything outside of the bloody system.
Yeah. I was talking to our guy who's coming on next week. Hang on a minute.
I mean, in fairness, Jason, when you think about it, at the end of the day, man only needs roof over their head, like, and stuff like that, yeah, and food supplies and that. So I mean, when you get farmers, the likes of farmers on your side, and farmers that's not in debt to the banks and have no control over them and stuff like that. Once you got farming communities on your side, well, then you've got food on your side. You know, not everybody has access to that. You know, living in big cities and access to planting and stuff like that. But the main thing is getting access to food and water. You know what I mean, and shelter over your head. I mean, after that, again, we're caught up, and I'm no different than anybody else, you know, far from it, in fictional bullshit, fictional things that we use in life. Because we don't need these fictional things to live. And again, you could bring someone back to a prison system to prove that when you're in jail, you ain't got fuck all. But there's lots of good days and bad days in there the same way as out here. Yeah, and you'd be thankful of your family, being able to see your family every day and the simple things in life then, so you would. When these are all taken away from you, all these fictional things, we learn to survive again. Okay, the difference in jail, you're being fed and that. Again, if we could do the likes of that outside, you know, like, what's stopping us all from being happy again?
Yeah. But the people are so attached to the things that don't matter. You know, you're talking about. Are you talking?
Sorry, Jason.
I'm getting a bit of feedback, really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting bad here. Getting bad feedback.
One step closer to a cashless society, so the system can see how much you earn and spend. In other words, where there goes sidey jobs, I mean, like that guy that you can get anything for 40 quid. And I agree with that, right? Because that would be, a cashless society would do that. But I don't think that's what they want. And we'll speak about that next week. Because the guy I talked to, he says that if they get a lot of the income for governments is through narcotics. And narcotics depends on cash. Oops, there we go, he's gone. Sorry, I think we're having a few problems there with Paul. But yeah, he said to me that that you know, you can't, if the governments are in narcotics and they're trafficking narcotics, then a cashless society is no good to them. How can they get rid of their product? They can't. They can't get rid of it because there's, you know, no cash. No, what are you going to do? Get your drug dealer comes up, and you go along to meet your drug dealer or whatever, and you say, "Can I have a fucking half an ounce? Fucking I don't know drugs, only weed." but I'll make one up. I don't know, fucking Spice. Spice. I've heard that one before. I think I saw that on. I think I saw Spice on. I think I first heard of Spice on Dog the Bounty Hunter. But anyway, so if I want to, he's not going to get his his card reader out, is he? He's not going to get his card reader out, and you'll just boop, there you go. There's your amount. It's not going to happen. So there has to be cash. There has to be some cash, because the drugs trade just will not. It won't be able to work, because your drug dealer, which they need, the people at the bottom who deal the drugs, who they need to deal in cash. They're not, they're not going to.
But it's not what the people at the bottom or what we want. It's what the people at the system. It's what the system want.
Yes,
and
but
if they take cash out of
narcotics, you see, a lot of governments they make money from narcotics, right? From the CIA, we know do it. They've been poor. Yeah. They've admitted to dealing in narcotics. Now that has to go then filter down to the dealer on the ground, and the dealer on the ground.
But Jay, right? But what if them CIA? What if them CIA and that were using it for, that black ops? That's what the drug money and all this kind of stuff went into, and all that black ops money went back into technology watching us and everything else. But when it comes to a one world government and we're linked through chips we become part of the grid system itself, then they don't need all this black ops money anymore under a one world government, do they? They're coming out. Most of the shit they get up there is coming out. And with the lunatics running the soil now, well, all their crazy dreams is going to be legalized. And I mean, with their crazy dreams and what they get up to and all that fucking nasty fucking shit and everything else, they try to justify that and legalize all that. And all the good stuff and truthful stuff and stuff that's beneficial to us, they're criminalizing.
Yeah. The point that I was making was that if you have a cashless society, then the drug trade is gone. I mean, if they wanted, this war on drugs that they keep talking about, if they really wanted it, they would say, right, it's cashless. Everything's cashless now. They could easily do it. Everybody would go for it. Everybody apart from us. These people here listening to me. People who listen to shows like this, people to listen to other shows, they would be the only people that would not do that would say no, we don't want that. They would say a cashless society, they would have it, right? But they won't, because they need the narcotics. They smuggle in the narcotics. Why do you think there's fucking guards around poppy fields in fucking Afghanistan? Armed guards around poppy fields, and they're allowing them to do it. And then they say, well, they've got to have some sort of income, so this is their income, and so we're allowing them a certain amount. When you know that they're fucking doing it themselves.
Oh, absolutely. I think I came across something there a few years ago where, again, that Black Ops and as you're saying there, the troops guarding the poppy plants, that they were selling that much and making that much profit on the illegal market, that the companies that needed to go into morphine and all that had to start growing their own under synthetic lighting.
But then you just half of your market's gone. I mean, how many people use some sort of, I smoke weed, right? How many people have some sort of habit that they use? I mean, there's loads of people that are not addicts, but they use coke on a weekend or when they go out, when they used to go out, when they used to be able to go out. There's a huge amount. There's such a, you're losing half your market. They can sell half the market to Big Pharma. Yeah, the opiates and that, but what are they going to do with weed? And I always remember that video. If you've not seen it, find it on YouTube. But there's a video of a guy who's reporting on them burning the weed that they found, and it's behind him. They're burning the weed behind him, and he's trying to do his report, and he just can't stop fucking laughing because it's, you know, he's getting it from it, and he's just fucking, you know, he just can't stop laughing. He's just going, here we found there's been a big drug stash, and it's, as you can see behind me, all these stuff is the marijuana is being burnt as we speak, and it's burning behind him, and then he just starts laughing, and he can't stop laughing because he's inhaling it. You know what I mean? But you understand that the weed's no good, really, unless they start saying, right, okay, and they have took a step towards that, that marijuana products, cannabis products, can be used in medicines, in NHS and stuff like that. So there would be a certain amount, but there's nowhere near the amount of people that smoke it. You won't believe how many people that my dad's mates, you know, who you would never have thought, but they stood outside Double Barrel at Thirdcroft, you know, having a joint, and it's just, so you can't lose all that market. This is what I'm saying. The cashless society seems like it's their dream, but it won't be. It'd be a fucking nightmare for them because they've got loads of issues to deal with.
Well,
you know, get some.
Well, you see, Jason. You see, you can still have so-called drugs, and I hate using that term drugs as well, because drugs to me is a manufactured bullshit.
Yeah.
I was looking at a program the other night, and it was got to do with lost ancient herb remedies and all this kind of stuff. And it was interesting. I don't know. It was some I don't have Sky, but it was Smithsonian Free Station. I often watch the history yokes for certain things. But it was on about these remedies, and say for instance, years ago there was a where they would have been using dandelion, I'm going to use for instance, or elderberry. And there was one of them they were putting into, now this is pharmacy stuff and that kind of stuff, early days stuff, and they were putting in 0.6 milligrams of cocaine into that mixture as well. And you'd also find other stuff where opium would have been mixed in and stuff like that. You know, so like, you know, it was never a class as a drug as such then. There were remedies, heads, and all this kind of stuff, yeah? But when they got banned and rebranded, because that's what they done, they banned it and rebranded, the same as the Great Depression in America. They banned alcohol and all that and rebranded when they controlled it. The system controlled and had license and all this kind of shit. You see, they took control and their share of what people were doing. And that's what they done with all the cannabis and opium, or the heroin, opium, cocaine, which the plants in Peru and all that, they use the plants' natural things and that. That would they used to go into a lot of medical stuff and all that. But the system just rebranded everything, so they did. And you know, we asked for it to be legalized after they take it into control and genetically modified a lot of the shit. And they sell it back to us then once they've control of it. Because after all, they're just plants in the beginning. But if you manufacture it, turn a plant into cocaine, or a plant into an opium plant into heroin, a cannabis plant, the only thing you do is produce oil, and so, well, you can do plenty with it, but you're not adding chemicals to you're withdrawing the goodness out. I suppose it is still processing.
Yeah, Heath's made a point. Cash would be replaced by the criminals, and then he says, "Gold."
Gold's gone crazy through the roof at the moment, so it is.
But you see, in the cashless society. Oh, I'm fucking hearing myself again. I'm going to turn your mic off.
I can hear the feedback. Anything here, and I'm getting the feedback all of a sudden.
There we go. It's gone now. Has it? No.
Gone, yeah.
I think just because all of a sudden, but look, even if they said, right, let me just turn your mic just for a second. Even if they said, right, even if, as Heath said, they replace the cash with something else, gold probably, right? They can't eat that gold. They can't fucking drink that gold. They can't do anything with that gold. That's gold's got to be turned into something, which means it'd have to go to a gold place where they'd pay. We're in a cashless society, so they get a certain amount of money for the gold, but it'd be transferred straight into their account. We've still got the problem, because then the drug dealer who's never done had a job in his life because there's fucking no jobs, the drug dealer has then got to answer for why he's got so much fucking money in his account and he's got no means of fucking income. And this is what I mean. The cashless society doesn't allow for that. And so it's not going to happen. There will never be a fully cashless society. I'll turn you back on, Paul.
When you have me turned off there, I can hear you crystal clear. There's no feedback, so there must be something on my end here.
It's because I mute when I was talking. Then I muted your mic.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm saying.
right.
I get no feedback. Yeah, it seems all right there. Yeah. Look, at the end, I hope to go to a cashless society. I know everybody's talking about all this crypto stuff and being backed by gold and everything else, but I mean, they can back it by anything they want. Again, as you said there, gold's only metal and all sorts of bloody shit. It's your food and everything else that's important. But at least with metal in your hand or gold in your hand, it's tradable if you want to call it money and that. Anything on the end, anything on that's not physically in your hand is physically gone, even when it devalues. So crypto devalues, it's gone. Gold, buying gold shares on the internet devalues, it's gone. But if a lump of gold in my hand, it can be devalued all at once. But if it was the price ever rise again in that scams and games, the way they manipulate things, at least that's still in my hand.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. But in the meantime, you've still got to feed your family, your wife, and your kids, or your two birds that you've got, because you've got two phones. You got your burner phone, you've got your own phone. So I understand what you're saying, and it does make sense. But we're talking about on the ground level. We're not talking about people that are going to have resources, endless resources, to be able to keep that until it came to a point as to where they could do something. People have said cryptos, but again, how do you buy an ounce of weed with crypto? What do you do? Bitcoins don't really exist. I mean, they don't really. Of course they exist, but not physically. They don't. So I can't hand over a Bitcoin or a fucking like a hundredth of a Bitcoin to buy me an ounce of weed, because it's not physical. And it talks about people are going to have to be walking around with fucking Bitcoin machines. I'm just saying that it just seems easier to me to allow for cash to carry on. And this cashless society thing, I think it's something that fucking David Icke's put in everyone's fucking head. And then when there's been any fucking move forward in finance, like fucking Bitcoin, or
Imagine going up to your local friend or your local weed dealer or whatever you want to call them, and give us a quarter, will you? How much is that? Yeah, that's going to be an 80 of Bitcoin.
Exactly. What an 80? Oh, it's fucking. Has it gone up or has it gone down?
Give us a quarter and I'll give you an 8 to be Bitcoin.
It's just fucking stupid, isn't it? That's what I mean. They need to have cash. There needs to be some way to trade under the radar. There has to be. Camera's fucking gone off for some reason. Not that one, like camera.
I mean, do we have to go under the radar and what's right or wrong and grow your own fucking plant?
Well, there's always going to be people that have to go under the radar. There are always going to be people that are making money out of things that the government don't like or don't approve of.
Well, again, the government control an awful lot of that kind of what goes on in outside this system, if you want to call it. They call it the black market, but they control all that end as well because, again, it breaks down communities and everything else. So even without in a cashless society, there is going to be an awful lot of what you call crime going on, or drugs and prostitution. All that's still going to continue. Man finds a way of trading something.
What are you going to give a prostitute afterwards? What are you going to say? Oh, you can
give her me 8 of grass. I give her the 8 of grass I just bought with me quarter of fucking Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And she can give that to fucking someone else for a bit of food or whatever she needs. There's always
I know, but
with
it seems to me that there's always a way is a lot more difficult than just keeping cash. But mainly being cashless, mainly on the whole. But there's only, I mean, years ago there were only 3% of cash money were actually in cash, and that were 10 years ago. So now it must be 1%, if not less. It'd be interesting to see how much is cash, but there still has to be cash to. Plus, there's probably the same amount of cash. It's just that there's fucking a lot more debt. So it's worth less. It's the inflation's fucking gone. It's just crap. Yeah, barter. I think a barter. Mick Romano's put barter. So the dealer fucking comes to your door. What do you do? Fucking get missus to suck him off. And it's not going to have that, is it? Because he can't go back to his missus and say, I've had a fucking 4 blowjobs tonight and a fucking fit a one
give me
finger up the arse.
Give me a head of lettuce and a few fucking scullions from your backyard.
Oh dear, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Look, I saw this advert tonight. These Amazon have got these electric vans. Now, I used to be a delivery driver, and I know that my fucking van would have run out of fucking electric after, turn it on and off. It's just a complete and utter fucking waste of time. They've now got the market. The market is them. They're the Facebook of consumerism. It's Amazon. Everything's becoming, the same.
There's a part in Dublin. There's one of the old parts of Dublin. They've turned into a little mini Silicon Valley. So they have, and you've Google headquarters, Facebook headquarters, and something else. And a friend of mine used to do security on the Facebook one. And they've big campuses and they've fucking loads of ground outside the city and all these data storing facilities and all that. And Amazon now are in the process of building a big place just a couple of miles into town here where I'm from. And down the middle of building a big massive fucking place now. And they're all the holdings will become the holding for Europe as far as I know. Data memory and shit like that, all the data collection shit.
Heath, for fuck's sake, man. How the fuck do you keep warm in an electric van? You can't, can you? It's just fucking ridiculous. But like I said, we've got Facebook, which seems to be internet, which is the internet for normal people, for normies, as Mark Devlin would call them. Facebook is the internet, and it's now going to be Amazon is where you buy your shit from, whatever it is. That's what it's going to be. So we're being compartmentalized in each individual area. You know, we get a sex at fucking, what is it? Tinder or something, or Grindr.
Watch him. He's not one of us. Fist coin. That's part of the new pink parent, surely.
But even China's in on it, aren't they? And it just is it one coin?
But he's right. Like that's what I'm saying. Like the system is fucked up.
It is. Long gone are the days where you could go have a couple of pints, fucking on way home, have fish chips with pie and tea, get a lady of the night, you know, further on way home just to work off that excess fat that you've just ingested, and still have 50 pence left over from a fiver. It's just. It is crazy. I mean, you're 51. I think you said earlier on you're 51, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm 50, so we're pretty much same age. And I can remember when I was sort of 16 and I could just get in pubs, even though I was really fucking small and I didn't look old enough, but they didn't really give a fuck back then, especially in fucking village that I lived in, which was what Deliverance, let's just say. A nice village, just fucking people, just Deliverance, man. Yeah, you could get served in, and I remember I'd go out with a fiver, and I'd have 3 fucking bottles of Nookie Brown, and I'd be fucking shit-faced, and on my way home, I'd still have money.
I remember at 16, 17 years of age, you can jump into fucking BNI or C-Link over here, over into England, over into fucking London, run amok, run around London and the big city and everything else at fucking 16, 17 years of age. You know what I mean? Craziness, fucking. You know, the freedom of it all and all that warehouse partying coming in and all that. You know, I was there for that. I'm coming up to 60 now, like in another few years, and you can't even go 5 kilometers without getting fucking tagged, chipped, and everything else.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can't, you know, you fucking, then it gets to a point. Now, if you go out, let's just say if I went out on my own, I won't come back with change from 100 quid. I wouldn't. On nights out, last night's out, which would have been a few years ago, it were a fucking a stag do, and I went out and I'd done 100 quid in, just easy as that. Like, and yet I could get shit faced, shit-faced on 3 bottles of Nookie Brown, have change from a fiver, stagger home. Sometimes I'd walk into, bump into a single mother that were on the way home that were a bit older than me, and they'd invite me back, and bingo, there you go. Had a rate good neat. I've still got change from a fiver, but nowadays it's just. It's fucking. We've lost all that. We've lost that personal connection as well. We've lost.
Peter, I never, like years ago, I wouldn't be into half the shit of today, and I mean, especially with politics and all that. But I suppose when you start learning about the system and everything, politics and everything comes into it, regardless what part you're learning about, But like you're saying there with the money wise and all that, you get an awful lot for it back then. Throughout the years, then You can see the price. You put the price of food up, but you know, all these expenses, cigarettes, all these things go up every year, so they do. But yet the wages would rise fuck all. It wouldn't rise the same percentage as all the other goods and everything else is going up.
Mm.
You know, you might get a 1% or a 2% on wages, but yeah, everything else has gone up. You know, it could be 2.5%, 3%, and that makes the difference throughout the years.
My father stopped smoking because fags went over £1. You know what I mean? Just a fucking completely different time. Just a completely different time, and not a greedy time. It were a greedy time, but when greed was just starting, weren't it? When I was growing up, sort of 80s, end of 80s, that's when greed were really getting a grip and hold on people. That's when you got all these films coming out like Wall Street, and people started climbing on back of fucking anybody. And you know, you'd probably you'd knock on someone's door and say, "Hello, I'm from Allied Securities," and they'd fucking let you in, and you £1,500.
Just to address something here, I think it's a bit insulting as well from your man Bilizzy All Stars, wherever. Paul has never whispered to his wee dog in the cage, thought it's a bit boot and odd boot. Believe me, my dog has never been fucking hit in his life, or any dog I ever had. And that dog come over here to me just for a rub, so he did it, and stayed me off me, and away over into his bed for his sleep.
Yeah, my dog's got a cage, but its door's always open, and it's used as like
his
got
his door's wide open. His is wide open there.
And it's nice and cozy, and when he wants to go in, it makes him feel safe. He goes in. That's when they feel safe. So yeah.
The dog, he come over for a little. I used to have 2 dogs, so I did. That's a little staff here. I used to have 2 of them. I used to have an old English bulldog, and he died there a couple of weeks ago. So we did. And the 2 dogs used to be outside together the whole time, and ever since then, that little dog's being in there, so he is nice and cozy and comes everywhere with me in the van every day, or the car, or anything else. So don't try and knock me about me dog.
Yeah, well, that Blazing Stars ignore him anyway.
I know, but you know, I don't. It's just for the arrogance of seeing a dog coming over. That shows your stupidity, and you know nothing about dogs.
Yeah, your dog will come over when you call it.
Your dog doesn't have to. My dog. I don't even have to call my dog. When he wakes up now, he'll look over me, and if I look over at him, he'll come over for his little rubs. He does.
Paul only whispers to his trouser smurf these days. Oh dear.
Don't do the whispering game, so I don't.
No, listen, we love as dogs. We all love as dogs. They all have the different personalities. Mine bites me, and so I'll say to him, I'll say cage, and he'll go and get in, and he won't come out. And I don't shut door, but he won't come out until I tell him. And he'll sit there and he'll go, oh, and I'll say, you bit me. You can't be biting, no biting. And you know. And then I'll say to him, come on then. And he'll look, and then he'll come out. You know, he'll go in his cage when he knows he's been nowhere. So,
your man, I am or whatever is right. Too many people have dogs in cages these days. That cage is wide open. It's the dog's bed. The dog has nearly a half acre out the back here. He used to be out there running around the whole time. His best friend, his other doggy friend, died. He's in there, door wide open, getting loved and looked after. Don't be such a sap now and picking on the poor dog. I try to even pick on me. Come on, that. We just come up with something constructive to the show or wherever it is. The poor dog.
I know, picking on a dog, and he's just lost his mate as well. He's still grieving, isn't it? So. And that probably
we can't criticize the information, Paul. Sorry for just talking over Jason. We can't criticise the information Paul's given out. So we criticise the way the dog come over and said hello to him. We'll just come up there.
I was going to ask you, is it called John McCarthy and is he chained to that radiator? Oh dear. Oh, listen, my dog's
There's a dynamite somewhere.
My dog's got a cage. He uses it as his fucking. It's got a cover over the top. I put a cover over the top so it's nice and cozy. If he want, it's got a bed in there. If he wants to go in, he goes in. In fact, he usually shuns my fucking company to go and sit in the fucker. So I'm not.
I'd be the same way, Jay. If I go in the living room there and throw on the fire and all that, and I'm on the laptop, I put a blanket down in front of me, a nice cozy oak like he has there. There's one on top of his cage, and that comes in the living room with me. And I try to get him to sit, and he sits me feet for a while, all cozy and all that. Then he gets up and fucks off out there. He's beside the radiator. He just fucks off. He leaves me there by myself, the bollocks. You know what I mean?
Got rid of that cunt with his fucking stupid fucking bollocks. I know it was Paula that earlier on that mentioned the cage. I think it was Paula anyway. If it weren't, I accept my apologies, Paula. But she's a dog lover and everything, and I think she's probably she's right, and she was right, and that's why I was agreeing with her, like too many do. Patrick Nee's in chat there. Patrick Nee's been to my house, and even Patrick knows me dogs and all that, so he does. Yeah. Eve knows my dog. He won't come to my house now because the dog bit him when he came. Fucking bit him. Off the door and he bit him. Excellent. It was awesome. It was only a little nip, but like Eve then decided to hide behind the door. And that's not what you should do with a dog, especially a terrier, because then he knows you're behind the door. If he'd have come in and just made a fuss with him, I think it'd have been all right. But I don't know if he's had history with dogs. Canine, dogs.
Again, should look up. You're saying, what have you got, a little terrier or something, is it?
It's what? Terrier, yeah. He's a cross between a Patterdale and a Lakeland.
Yeah, little terriers could be nippy oaks. Some staffs could be nippy oaks. Staffordshires are known as the granny's dog for a reason. And that's why, because they're very passive and all that. He's happy as fuck.
Well,
apart from dog talk, go on, sorry.
We took him to get trimmed one time at Pets at Home, which is it opened up just across Main Road, a few hundred meters behind us. And when we got there, because he's quite, he's got a lot of hair, and they'd shaved him, and they rung us up and they said, we can't do his head. And we said, what do you mean you can't do his head? And they said, well, he keeps snapping at us and he means it. And so they said, we'll not charge you full amount, but can you come in and get him? And so we went in and got him, and he's as skinny as old, but his head's, it looked like a lion. And I took him for a walk, and I took him for a walk on my spaz wagon, and I took him for a walk, and this kid went, Mummy, look at that little lion. But he means it.
I think an important thing you see again when people are having, even with dogs and that, just for it does blend in with topics that's being chatted about and stuff. At one stage, I have had dogs throughout the years, different. I've been into me bulldogs and had pit bulls and American bulldogs and all sorts. I like the bulldog breeds, but years ago, there was a lot of bag food and stuff like that. I wouldn't have half the sense I do these days, I hope. But the dogs, himself and the other dog I had, they've been on the raw tripe. That's what they get, pure raw green tripe, so they do. They get fish, they get red meats and stuff like that. I keep them off all this dry food. and all the vaccinations and bullshit. Unfortunately, at first, the dogs was vaccinated, but it was before I got them as a pup. But since I've had them, I wouldn't go into that line with them and all that. You know, because I started learning about that. And there was even documentaries on telly there about the dry food and all that. And the amount of dogs that gets cancer and bad hearts and everything these days. But cancer in dogs is unbelievable. Even over here, the amount of them and that. You know, it's such a racket as well, the same as the humans and all that. It has really become that. But if you start feeding your dog on raw foods and proper stuff like that, you see the difference in them. And I mean, that dog there, the shine in their coats and everything, they're just, you know. And again, when you're giving them raw, proper food and all that, it's only a certain amount of weight, but they're getting everything in it. It's not a big expense that you can do when you look into raw feed and all that. And a lot of people I know over here that be into bulldogs and all that, they're all raw feed. And my dog there actually gets, I give him the CBD oil as well. Or he gets him, I have little treats, because I actually, and them treats has CBD within it. And there's other people I know there, they're using the CBD oil on the dogs and all that, 16 and 17 years of age. And they're getting great results out of the dogs.
Well, we had a guy on who did CBD products for dogs, animals, pets. They were called Pet Relief. But so and then leaf as in a leaf. Pet Relief. And he does all CBD stuff all for dogs and cats and all sorts of animals. We've had him on. We had him on once. He reminded me of Michael Scott at the office, US office. But he'll if you were get in touch with him, if it's still fucking going, I don't know. You might be off to get if we're going to send us some, me and Andy some, but he never got round to it. We always get that, you know. People say, "Oh, we'll send you some of this, we'll send you some of that," and then they don't.
Yeah, I've had a few of that already.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember there a couple of years ago, I was chatting to a woman. She was from Scotland. And we were on about the CBD oils and all that. And she was telling me that she was licensed years ago as a veterinarian or something like that. And she used to be carrying oil. All the big top race horse owners have been using it this fucking long time with the horses. Excuse any language I've been coursing a bit tonight. I don't usually need to course for that.
Ah, fuck it. Don't matter. Well, we all love as animals, don't we? We all love as pets. If you don't, you're a twat, aren't you? Anybody fucking animal. It fucking or humans in my David Icke voice.
Humans. Again, look, if we're going to look after ourselves and we're looking for solutions for ourselves in this crazy world, and you have pets, we should be putting a bit of thought into them as well, actually. You know, like if people are healthy eating themselves but feeding dogs dry food and shit like that, that's not too good for starters, is it?
No, I mean, we give our dog food, but we also incorporate sardines, tin sardines. He loves it. Oh, and some cheese on top, sprinkled cheese. And you know,
we'll even go to your local butchers and ask them for the scraps at the end of the week and just bring them home and bag them up into little sections for the week. Different weight dogs is different portions. Some people overfeed their dogs as well. And dogs that's not getting the right food will eat a hell of a lot more because it's not fulfilling what they need. I mean, it's a bit like ourselves. If we're crying out for minerals and proteins in our system and we're feeding junk food in, we're not getting the minerals or protein, so it's still going to call out for us. So we're going to junk feed. I do it myself. I'm not going to say there's no angel here, you know. But I'm aware of what I do, and then I try and make up for. I have to train a little or fucking detox my body or something. Excuse me.
Sweet. Well, okay. We've gone right over by about half an hour. So, any last words from you, Paul, before we depart this virtual coil?
No, Jason, just thanks for for sending us the link to come on. It was actually a nice, enjoyable chat. So it was tonight. Just a nice, enjoyable chat. No craziness or madness. But yeah, thanks for having us on, and anybody in there in the chat for listening to me. Again, look, I'm going to reserve the rights to be wording, so nobody can use them against me now. It's my thoughts on things, my thinking on things.
Yeah,
could be wrong on everything, so we could.
Yeah,
we could be right on someone and wrong on a lot.
yeah, that's probably right. Yeah, it's probably more accurate than we think. Anyway, listen, I'm back on Friday night at about 9:30 for an After Dark. I'm going to have Jason Clark on with me, and we're going to be talking about the urban exploring that he's been doing. Urban Collective is his website, his YouTube channel. I'm sure we'll talk about other stuff as well. COVID, we'll catch up. I haven't spoken to him for a while, but he's going to be on Friday at 9:30 on After Dark, and then on Tuesday next week we got our Paul, our insider guy, financial guy, and I'll tell you some of, if you go back and have a look at some of the me and Andy did, they must be 4 years ago. It must be 4 years ago. But if you have a look back, I think it's our insider Paul. Andy knew him, but I spotted him yesterday, and I thought, oh, he'd be interesting to get on again, because we had some. I remember saying to him, one of the questions I said to him, I said, "What will a world?" I said, "Can you imagine what a world would look like if we had Boris and Trump in charge of these two states?" And that came to be. So now we know what it'll look like. But it's been a great talking to you tonight, Paul. And thanks to everyone in the chat room. And Paul, you're welcome anytime, mate. Especially when I'm like stuck on my own, like I were tonight. But I was determined to do a show. I want to get back on track. It's going to be Tuesdays and Fridays from now on. So it's going to be Tuesdays and After Dark on Fridays. So thanks very much to everybody for watching. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and that like and subscribe. Ding! I should have some graphics, sure, that comes there going ding, and then it presses fucking subscribe thing. I'm doing it as ding. There you go. So like and subscribe. Raconteurs News is the name. See you later. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for putting up with us. We love you. Ta-ra a bit.